So today I have some more crazy stuff I wrote. This is my brother and I'll be reading him this story. The wallpaper was ivory white, spotless, bare, apart from a single lopsided poster, handmade and seemingly nonsensical, covered in scrawled equations and random facts. It seeped with so much black ink it had stained the wall behind it ever so slightly. Resting my hand against the wall as I approached him, I realized to my dismay that it was sticky to touch. A quick glance at my hand showed residue over my fingers, and I became fully aware of the repugnant chemical aroma that filled the space. I recognized him immediately, though he is turned away from me, facing the only window with perfect stature, with the blatant stillness of an inanimate object.
What a stupid word.
Or as it gets worse, or as Philip would have said, Aldenwa Arimas.
What?
If you know, Arimas is what you use for inanimate objects in Japanese. It's imos if it's
Why
a
would
person.
Philip say that?
Because Philip likes languages. I don't know. That's his thing.
And he doesn't like English.
Sure. I don't know.
Philip sounds like a moron.
He's a cool kid. Okay, you ready for the next part, Connell? But I can't think about Philip now. This is about moving forward, not looking back. I can only fix one mistake at a time. Do you have the pen? The paper? The sound of his voice startles me, and I pause temporarily in my tracks. I begin to formulate a response in my mind, how to tell him how sorry I am for everything, but he speaks before I can so much as open my mouth. We had an agreement. I would leave the walls alone if you allowed me one piece of paper and a pen each day. I have work to do. Accounting, murder, what? Solving the greatest conundrums of mathematical history.
What? You can't just squeeze murder into that.
Sure I can.
Accounting murder.
I need to exercise my mind so I'll lose it. Do you want me to go insane? Is that the idea, the purpose of having me here? Well, I won't break down. You will never break me. His voice is eerily calm, and I listen carefully to his words to spot an outlier. A clue in his psyche, something I could use to I am standing directly behind him, but cannot bear to face him. In fear I will lose my composure. My eyes sting, my hair itches. I decide instead to further examine the poster on the wall. I can barely follow the mouse despite my degree in teaching the subject in its most complex form. Something else catches my eye. However, a glimpse of the text on the underside. What? Alden killed them. Oh yeah, I am changing the names, by the way, because otherwise, just for consistency.
Okay.
One phrase repeated over and over. Third person, implication of multiple victims. What the hell is this? I couldn't believe it either. I turn impulsively, only to be staring directly at him. The overconfidence in his deep brown eyes arouses fear in my soul. It was nice at first. We all got on so well, which was to be expected, of course, though I suppose it wouldn't work for everyone. We had pizza parties weekly. It was nice at first, but then some of them stopped coming. It was a gradual deflation in the size of the group. Then 432 turned up, blood pouring from multiple stab wounds, claiming one of us was a homicidal maniac. You see, these other versions of myself, their existence is by no means explained by the multiverse theory. No, think of it instead as degrees of reality, probability, and the deepest chasms of non-existence of versions of ourselves who would do anything to exist in absolute reality. Of course, at every layer of reality, every layer of reality will feel to its occupants as the ultimate reality, until you find yourself fading, realize there is an end to you. It is said that in true reality, every being is immortal and invincible. Therefore, it would be impossible to replace yourself in the ultimate reality. To exist in any reality, you must kill the version of yourself which already lies there. What do you think of this, Connor?
What the heck? Makes less than no sense, Lily.
You think this character's gone insane?
I think you've gone insane for writing about this character.
Hang on, I cut in, trying to find flaws in his ramblings. If one of your friends was trying to kill the others, wouldn't it be easier to just kill all of you at once? Not that I prefer that outcome. You cannot injure anyone above a certain level of reality. You have to be strategic. Have some level of chronology. How do you pronounce that word? He explains, stepping towards me. I backtrack until my back is against the wall. I never thought it would be possible for me to be genuinely afraid of my childhood friend, but his gaze remains unbroken, and he does not stop pacing until I can feel his breath on my face. My heart thumps loudly in my chest. You see, there was a simple solution. Locked us all in a room with no weapons and wait for one of us to fade. One can only exist in a place for real. One can only exist in a place for real than ourselves for so long. That doesn't... More real? Is it meant to be more? One can only exist in a place more real than ourselves for so long.
You're right, that does make sense.
He advises, his hand reaching to tuck a golden curl behind my ear. Unless, of course, there is another explanation. An explanation which would guarantee the perpetrator gets away with everything. Can you guess who this alternative suspect is? He leans close, his voice a barely audible whisper. I take a step to the side. An immediately inadequate move to escape him. I can't think, let alone find the answer. There's a picture there. With him looking at me like that, his eye wide with some type of off-brand insanity, an oxymoron of hostility and sympathy. Think, he shouts, his right hand hitting the wall millimeters from my shoulder, and I scuttle instinctively towards the corner, vibrating in shock. We can play your game, Cordelia. Get the questions right and I'll give you something in return. His voice was a brutal mockery of my sister's... what? accent. He strolls with sinister casualness. Okay, so in your alternate theory, the perpetrator gets away with it, no matter what? Not necessarily. His hands are pressed up. It says his hand pressed his up against the... what were all of these words meant to me? I can't English, Connell. His body forming the perfect barrier. I cannot move, cannot do anything but obey him. You haven't told me anything about these alternate versions of yourself. I've told you everything you need to know. Think. What did he say that might be important? The most real reality, I exclaim. What about it? If one of the Oldens was from there, he couldn't be killed. He could kill everyone. His face is unchanged, his eyes glaring. I count whole seconds, my heart screaming, my mind pleading silently, my soul begging for mercy.
What the heck?
Jeez, you're being over dramatic, aren't you? Your friend's crazy, he's not gonna kill you probably. He's probably not the evil one.
Yeah, but that is incredibly dramatic.
It is. Then he steps away, his face relaxes. He is my friend once again. I feel freedom envelope me from the hell, claustrophobia, hell, I didn't know I had, into the comparatively wide space of the tiny room. Until I release my freedom is less metaphorical than I thought. Okay, does that make sense? I don't... Looking for something?
I'm sure that makes sense.
Exactly. It doesn't... Looking at the contents of his hands, I hold a strand of my hair in front of me in horror. Your eyes were too dark. You were too tall. Don't think I didn't notice you weren't wearing heels. The real question is why, Helena? I would have been happy to see either of you. Oh, basically that ending is saying she was pretending to be her sister for some reason.
Of course.
So what do you think, Connell?
I think that's terrible. And anyone watching this, you should unsubscribe from Apocalypse Prevention Agency before your eyes and ears start bleeding.
That was actually kind of cool though. I wrote it kind of badly, but like this theory of like laser reality and like the most ultimate reality being full of immortal people who could just like kill everyone else in the lower realities if they wanted.
I mean, despite the theory being terrible, it was still cool. I agree.
Thank you.
Good job, Lily.
Thanks, Connell.
Good night.
Okay.
Good night, viewers. Tune in next time for more terrible content. Make sure to like and subscribe.